Hey, what's cracking? Hope this video finds you doing well today. Uh, and if it hasn't, if you're sitting there and you're frustrated or in a bad mood or the day hasn't gone your way, man, right now you can change that. If you'll just take 2 or 3 seconds, think about 2 to 3 things you're blessed for. Just hit pause on this video and think about a couple things that you're thankful for and the ways you're blessed. And it'll change your whole thought process throughout the day, man. It's like working out in the morning raises your mentality through the day. You can do the same thing with your mind. In this video, I wanted to catch up on a few things that I've mentioned in other videos and didn't quite get to the way I wanted to. And the next video, I'll dive back into my story. If this is the first time that you've joined me on a video or clicked one of my videos, my name is Ricky Dye, and I went to prison when I was 15, and I did over 20 years straight. And I was never in any of the easy places. I was always in the rough places. And I got out when I was 35 and got married, and I've been out for around 14 years now. And I've started making these videos because I want to try to save some other families, some other kid from going down the road I went to. And that's what these videos about. And if each video I try to make it where it will stand alone, but I've also got them running in order where if you'll join from the very beginning, you'll be able to listen to my story and how it went as it went. And I'll ask you all to like, share, and subscribe, please. Share it on your social media platforms. If you will like it and subscribe to the video on YouTube, it helps me immensely. I need 1,000 subscribers before I can do anything through YouTube. So that's what I'm going for, man. If you guys help me out on that, I appreciate it. And any of you guys who've already done it, thank you, man, more than you know. The messages, the comments, the encouragement. You guys are the reason I'm still doing the videos. So thank you so much. I wanted to talk to you a few things about when you get there. You can go to school and the different places you can get a job. You can get a job on the maintenance crew, going around and fixing things in people's cell or basically anything that goes wrong, the kitchen or anywhere. You can get a job in the kitchen. You can go to Votech, most places, some places where the higher security you can't, but if the security isn't too high, if you're at Lexington, Joe Hart, Crabtree, most of the medium security private prisons, you can go to Votech and get your trade. Uh, you can get a job working on the unit, doing the floors. You can get a job doing floors all over the place, buffing floors, making them shine, get you a level. The main thing you want to do is try to get a level and try to keep it. But any write-up you get makes you all the way down to level 1. You have to start completely over. And some write-ups you get will hang on you for long periods of time. And I'll get a few of those, and we'll get to it as I get them. I wanted to talk to you about the drug scene in prison. There's just about every drug you can think of in prison. Most things, everything is measured by a chapstick cap. You go and you get a tube of chapstick and you take the lid off and you fill that lid up, and that's considered a gram. It's called a cap. In prison, you call that a cap. And you fill that up with weed, and that's called a cap of weed, and that goes for $10 in canteen most places. If you're paying what's called hard money, which is cash money that you've snuck in or come across in some way, had someone bring you, cash money, you get 6 caps for $20, 3 for 10, 15 for 50, and so on. If you have someone send the money on Western Union or mail the money from my family to their family or something, once it gets there, that's considered hard money. And you don't pay $10 a cap, you get the 3 for 10 deal. You can find just about every drug there is in prison. It's there. I never done any drugs when I went to prison, but by the time I got out, I'd tried every one of them. And I'm going to get to that as my story goes along. So if you haven't watched the rest of my videos, if you'll go back and catch yourself up, man, you'll be right with me where I'm at. But there's a lot to the 20 years I spent in prison, and you cannot put it in a 10-minute video. And my videos are real. I tell you how it happened, how it was. I don't tell you how I think it should be or what it should be. I tell you what happened the way it is. So I want to tell you that guys in prison, some guys that do things that they wouldn't do if they were out. There's guys that do things, homosexual things in prison they would never do on the streets. There was a little guy I knew in there, and he was considered a boy because he didn't shave his legs and he didn't shave his mustache. He carried himself like a guy, but he was a girl. And the guy was only 5'2", real little fella. He probably weighed about 110 pounds, man. He would have been very, very mean and not care about getting out to defend himself. And this guy, I asked him why he did it. Was he gay? And the guy told me that he wasn't gay, but it was easier for him to do those things than it was for him to fight people bigger than him. So He had decided he was just going to do whatever he had to do, and then when he got out, he was just going to forget. And I have people tell me to just put prison out of my mind, don't think about it. And you know, the difference between complex post-traumatic stress disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder is when you have post-traumatic stress disorder, that can be caused from anything bad that happens to you, like someone rapes you or robs you, some bad thing that happened in an instant or over a short period of time. And then complex, that's when you live it, when you're there, when there's no break from it, when it's all the time. And you can't forget something that lasted 20 years. It wasn't something that happened in a short time. It was half of my life. And you don't forget half your life. So I have to just learn to deal with it. And helping other people is the only thing I've found that helps me. And when I asked people to, I had a video where I asked people to list what their blessings were. Every single person listed someone else. An animal, even a cat, they'll pick human companionship over food. And so will we. We'll pick someone we love over the last bite we have to eat. And that should tell you something. So if you're sitting there watching this video and you have someone that loves you, that alone is worth for you to go through anything you have to go through to not kill yourself, to get through it. When someone loves you, you owe them. You have an obligation to them to not hurt them because they chose to love you. So if there's someone in your life that loves you, then you owe them not to make the big mistake that will put you in prison or to go try to kill yourself. Someone loves you, you have a major blessing. Usually when people go to prison at a young age, they come out one of a few different ways. I mentioned that, but I didn't go into it. So usually when someone goes to prison at 15 like I did, they either end up catching out from prison to prison, or they end up hurt real bad, or they end up with a disease, or they end up with more time than they can do. I think your life expectancy behind the fences when you're in medium or higher security is around 2 years. Then they expect that during that time you will either get killed yourself, or you will hurt someone and get enough time that you're not going to get out, or you will catch a disease that will end up killing you. But I was in prison for 20 years and sit here today and I'm healthy and I'm happy and I made it through it, and I never caught out anywhere I went. I never asked the police to save me. So all the things that should have happened to me in 2 years, they didn't happen in 20. And that's because I had churches praying for me, my mama praying for me, and I prayed for me every day. And I ended up getting lost, and I forgot to remember to keep the Lord in my life. And a lot of bad things started happening to me. But I still had my mother's prayers, and the Lord keeps his promises even when you don't. You can't make a deal with God. But even when you try to, the Lord always looks out for you. I don't care if you are going to rob a store or a house. You'll always do better if you take the Lord with you. I don't care what you're doing. There was a preacher I mentioned that wanted me to go around and do my testimony when I got out, and I went because I couldn't tell everything that needed to be told. And he was trying to explain to me how it is out here, how if an altercation happened between me and someone in a parking lot or something, how I should be the first one to call the police and tell them my story, because the first one to tell their story is the ones usually believe. I sat and listened to him tell that story, but man, I'm here to tell you, there's 100 guys in front of my house with a machine gun. I'm not going to call the police. I'm not sitting here and tell you that I'm completely fixed now and I'm a great guy and I do everything that's supposed to happen, because I don't, man. You can still push me to fight. I'll try not to, but you probably don't have to push me as hard as you should have to. But I'm working on that. Every day I work on it. And that's how it is for me. That's how it is for you. That's how it is for everybody. Every day is a struggle. Every day you have to try. You have to work to be happy. It doesn't just happen for you, man. And I'm happy after spending 20 years in prison, over half of my life. I miss my teens, I miss my 20s, and most of my 30s. And I'm still happy today. And I'm telling you that you can be too. I've beat drugs. I've beat prison. Beat everything that there is against me to sit here and smile today when I talk to you. And you can do the exact same thing. But this guy, he's explaining to me how things work out here and what you have to do. And I'm thinking, this preacher right here, he is a good man. One of the best men I've ever met. But if he went to prison with this attitude, acting the way he is right now, man, he would get hurt, man. They would take everything he had from him. He'd never have nothing. He would be run over. He could not survive the way he is out here. The things that you do out here that make you a good man are the things that will get you hurt in prison. The things that you do in prison to survive, to make you a good man, make you a person out here that cannot function in society. So it was easier for me to go to prison at 15 than it was to get out at 35. And that's how it works, man. You go in prison and you get lost. They don't fix you in there. You need to fix yourself now. Because if you think the problems you have now are something, they're nothing compared to the problems and the obstacles you will have if you go and make that mistake. So fight it out, man. Go to someone you love. You talk to them. You work that out, man. Because the people that are around you, that are loving you, taking care of you, they do love you. The communication is just missing. And whether you're the older person with the kid or the kid with the older person, the communication is all you lack, man. Just sit down, talk to each other. Just because you live with each other don't mean you know each other. You have to discuss things and you have to talk about things to do that. And love doesn't grow in good times, man. Love grows in the hardest of ground. So if you're having a hard time, right now is the time you can get closest to the ones you love. Turn to them. And hopefully things will work out for you. Please don't go and make the mistakes I did. In the next video, I'm going to jump right back into Lexington. I'm going to tell you about 3 fights in one day with 3 different people. The roughest days I've ever had. This video has gone to almost 12 minutes. I try to keep it short because I know you have lives. I'm not trying to tie you up for a long time, but I appreciate you stopping by, checking out my video. Thank you so much, man. If you haven't subscribed, please do that now. Please share this on your Facebook. Maybe you'll find a kid who needs it. Maybe you'll find a parent who needs it. So God bless you and keep you and yours. May God protect your family, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.